Welcome to the MTV Studio here, day 2 of Academy with Dr. James Wittig. Thanks so much for joining.
Hey, buddy.
Great to
Thank you for
meet
inviting me.
you. Been a big fan of all that you're doing. Maybe catch us up to speed, proper introduction for those that maybe don't know all the great things you're doing. I'd love for you to share what it is that you do with the audience.
Yeah, so I'm an orthopedic oncologist, which means that I'm an orthopedic surgeon who's specialized in taking care of patients who have tumors that involve or arise from their muscles and bones. And the real specialty part of it is performing limb-sparing surgery for children and adults who have bone and soft tissue sarcomas. So soft tissue sarcomas and bone sarcomas are cancers that develop from the actual muscles and bones themselves,
Right.
as opposed to spreading from another body part or another site to the bones and muscles. So these are primary tumors or cancers of the bone. Mm-hmm. And many years ago, maybe prior to the 1970s or early 1980s, patients were routinely amputated. But then in the 1970s, with the development of chemotherapy and other treatments like radiation, limb-sparing surgery came into favor, and it's been developed over the years. Many different aspects of medicine have helped develop limb-sparing surgery so that the majority of patients can be treated with a limb-sparing surgery as opposed to an amputation. So for instance, the advent of chemotherapy, the introduction of radiation therapy, MRI scanners. Believe it or not, when I was training, it was hard to get a patient an MRI scan.
Wow.
When I was in residency. MRI, CAT scans, they've enabled us to learn the extent of tumors, right? Studying the tumor specimens over the course of time, seeing how the chemotherapy giving it prior to surgery affects the outcomes. All these different things and development of limb-sparing surgical techniques and different metal prostheses to replace bones and joints. They've really enabled probably 95% success rate in saving limbs as opposed to amputating them. So that's my real specialty, is doing limb-sparing surgery. And the most special part, or the most sacred part, I think, of my job or my career, my profession, is taking care of children with cancers.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, it's very special to be able to take care of kids. I'm honored, and I always tell everybody I'm honored and privileged. I try to teach my residents about what a privilege it is to be able to take care of children who have cancers. Their parents are putting all their trust in me, all their trust in my team to save their child's life, but also to save their limb and give them a good functional outcome. And there's, I emphasize, right before we do these surgeries, I emphasize it's the biggest compliment in the world to be able to do that.
And that's amazing. What an impact you're having. Where did this begin? Where did you discover the love and the joy? Because I can sense that you have that for your vocation. Where did it begin?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think it began when I was born. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a doctor. So I think that I was a healer ever since I was born. Whatever God's essence was for me, I was a healer. There was nobody in my family that's a physician. My father was a police officer. My mother was a hairdresser.
Wow. And
they were just, my parents are wonderful people. We lived in a 2-family house with my grandparents growing up in Paterson, New Jersey. And, we went to church every Sunday. I think it was instilled in me in a young age to be involved in service to others.
Yes.
And to take care of others. But naturally, I just was drawn to being a doctor and healing people. And I remember walking around with this toy doctor's bag all the time as a kid, or whenever my mother or father brought me to Toys R Us, I wanted a toys doctor's bag. So I think it started, that was the initial start of it all. And
so that's amazing. So your life, as you think back to as early as you can remember, having these, a calling to serve, but seeing all the things that you've accomplished and continue to accomplish for the industry, how do you, if you think about, I love the term healer that you use. That's exactly how I describe surgeons, not providers. You're healing people. Can you dive a little bit more into what that means to you?
Yeah, so, I see myself as a, I don't necessarily see myself as the person who is healing the patient. I feel like I receive divine guidance. God guides my hands in taking care of patients, right? And creating happiness for them. So, you asked me, like, how do I gauge success with a patient? Everybody wants to look at things objectively and data and stuff, but I gauge it by, did the patient get better and are they happy? And can I cure everybody? No, I can't cure anybody. That's not in my hands, right? If that's meant to be, God will enable that to happen,
Yeah.
right? But He guides my hands to take care of them and give them the best possible care that they can achieve. And there's times when I have to admit defeat.
Yeah,
Right?
sure.
There's times where the patient is not healed, especially if it's a child. A little piece of my heart is taken from me.
Yeah.
But I have to realize that wasn't in God's plan. That wasn't in my, right? That was in God's plan. That was His plan.
Yes.
And I can't overcome what God wants, right?
Too many people try to do that. I mean, we don't have control over outcomes as much as we try.
Right.
Yet, there are certain things that are in your control, and it's how you do what you do, right? The fact that you're actually looking at the happiness of the patients and the caregivers and the family, that's truly, I don't think I've ever heard that, honestly.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people say to me, I don't know how you do it. These patients must be so sad when they come in and they see you, and it's so sad to see. But the truth is, many of the patients come in happy, right? They're happy that we're taking care of them.
Right.
They're happy that we're focusing on them. They're happy that they have someone to come to try to heal them. And we look at the whole patient, right? I don't just look at the little nitty gritty that I'm doing, the surgical procedure. We want to make sure that the patients are mentally healthy, physically healthy,
Right.
and spiritually healthy. And we focus on all those aspects when a patient comes in to see me. And however we can help out in any of those areas, we do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, the full spiritual, physical, emotional, like all the things. Did you, back when you knew that this was your vocation and calling, could you ever imagine that this is where you'd be in 2025?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I didn't know which, I mean, I always visualized myself as a physician and healing others. And also what I would visualize is me having phenomenal relationships with my patients. And maybe that's what I have now. And I have so much incredible abundance in life. And I'm not talking about material abundance, just the abundance of being able to practice my craft and use my knowledge and my skills for the betterment of others, right? And always trying to help other people out. There's nothing that I think makes you feel better in life than doing something for somebody else and helping them out and making them better. And right, there's no strings attached.
No strings.
You never do something for somebody else with strings attached. You do it because you want to do it and you want to help them, and you're in a position in life where you can help them, or you have a skill or a knowledge set where you can make things better for them.
And I love that too, because even for you as a healer, a surgeon, and really kind of someone who's dedicated their life to helping others, right, to serving to others, there is it's the golden rule. You do good unto others, or it's the law of, what is the saying? If you're dealing with anxiety or you're down, serve, right? It eradicates that, or give gratitude.
Right,
It
gratitude.
chokes out
Gratitude.
anxiety and all those things. Yeah, I've personally experienced this, and so it's neat to meet others that.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings or quotes that actually came from a coach of mine, is gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership.
I love
Right?
that.
Don't look at your cup half full. There's abundance in everybody's life. And be grateful for the different things in your life that you have. Does it mean you're not going to meet hardships? No, you're going to meet hardships, but you're going to get through those hardships.
That's right.
And hardships are always meant for a reason, right? There's a lesson to be learned from every hardship. And you transmute that. You know, you're an alchemist. You turn negative situations into positive situations, and you'll flourish.
I completely agree. Anytime there's anything negative, we have the power to flip that and use it as fuel, or use it as a way to. I mean, you can't appreciate the light, you know, until you go through some dark times.
Right. Contrast. I listened to this one person called Abraham Hicks.
Okay.
And I listen to her, and I do some of her meditations.
Nice.
And she talks about how contrast is necessary in life. You need contrast so that it drives desire, because you know what you don't want, and then you know what you do want, and it drives your desire for what you do want.
Yeah.
And that's when magical things happen in your life.
Can we talk about your protocols? You know, very fit individual. You mentioned meditation. Obviously, there's exercise. I'm assuming you do a healthy amount of that, as do I. What can you share about how you get yourself ready for what you do?
Right, well, in order for you to be most effective and to be the best in your life, you have to take care of yourself, right? When you're the best version of yourself, and when you're happy, you have one job in this life, and that's to make yourself happy and to make yourself healthy, right? And when you're happy and healthy, you're the richest person in the world. Everything else falls into position. Your relationships with other people fall into position. The people who are supposed to be in your life,
That's right.
You attract those people. You take great care of patients, right? And my motto is that I need to be mentally, physically, and spiritually healthy and strong so that I can do my job right. And so that I can be an effective and strong healer and a strong creator of happiness for other people, and to help people elevate themselves to new levels. And part of that is daily exercising. Part of that is meditation. You only need 10 minutes of meditation a day. And it took me a while to learn it, to be able to clear your mind so you can think about nothing else, or doing guided meditations, right? And then, whether you believe in God, you believe in Source, whatever it's the universe that's out there. The universe works in amazing ways. And you throw that positive energy out there, and you're vibing high in the frequencies of love, joy, and gratitude, amazing things are going to happen with you, rather than functioning at frequencies of jealousy, deceit, dishonesty. Those are low level. That you attract low level things into your life. You always want to vibe high, and then you have miraculous things come into your life, and you're going to be happy, and other people are going to benefit from you.
You're spreading that, and you are attracting that, and I've seen it. That's incredible. I'm so glad you're sharing this. What else do you want to share, or what's next for you? What's kind of the future look like for you, Dr. Wittig?
Well, I was telling you about a spiritual experience that I had.
Yes, sir.
And it was very interesting. I was going through a tough time in my life, the first year in college. And I was a bit depressed. I would come home, and in the middle of the night, I heard a loud siren, and it scared me. It was deafening, the siren. I opened my eyes, and there was a bright light in front of me with a being in front of it. And, I closed my eyes, I felt a hand rub over my head, and when the hand reached the back of my head, the siren was off, and I opened my eyes, and there was no more bright light there. Well, I thought that I was crazy at the time. I said, "Oh, geez, you're hallucinating." Well, the next day I went into my college class, my English class. It was being taught by a nun, and I walked in. I was late. I had been late frequently because I was having some difficulties, going through some difficult times.
Sure.
And the nun asked me to come up to her at the end of the class. So I was like, oh boy, I'm in trouble now.
This is the day after.
The morning after. So this maybe happened 3 o'clock in the morning, and this was my 8 a.m. class.
Wow.
So I go up to her afterward, and she's a tiny little nun, maybe 5 foot, with her habit on, looking out the window, and she's looking out like this, and she goes, sit down, Wittig. So I sit down, and I'm shaking in my boots. Remembered going to Catholic grammar school and kids getting in trouble by the nuns, you know, getting that big yardstick.
That slap, yeah.
So I sit down, and she looks at me, and she goes, did God come and speak to you last night while you were sleeping?
Wow.
And I looked at her, I was very scared. She goes, God came to me and spoke to me and said that he visited you last night. Wow. And that you're meant for great things. She's like, you don't have to tell me what went on, but just, I want you to pray. You're
Wow.
meant for great things, right? And I just said, yes, sister. I mean, I was scared at the time. I didn't know what happened. She just confirmed everything that went on during the middle of the night with me. But as time went on, I do think that I've accomplished, you know, I have a phenomenal profession. God has given me abundance. I'm able to take care of these kids and stuff. And I'm going to continue to do so. And I'm going to continue to lead a great practice, a great clinical practice, continue to develop my administrative responsibilities as time goes on at a higher administrative level. But I'll never give up my practice, but I still don't think I've achieved what she told me I was going to achieve. So I think that that is in the future for me, and that will unveil itself at some point.
I love that. And you know, one of the things that I'll share with you, a friend of mine who's a surgeon shared, he's like, everyone chases perfection, and the flaw in that, as much as you all try as surgeons, or really anyone, you'll never get it.
They can't get it, right.
So chase mastery.
Right.
And I love that, because mastery, whether it's your daily workouts, your daily meditations, your learning new techniques here at Academy, or whatever it is, that is where excellence, I feel, is found. And you're never going to be perfect.
Never. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody. I mean,
you can never be perfect.
Yeah.
Right. There's only one person that's perfect.
There's only one, and he is smiling down and sees what you're doing, as do I. It's been awesome to just get a little bit more behind who you are. I've been a big fan and follower of yours on social media. I love what you're doing. My dad had cancer, survived. My aunt and uncle did not, and so it's been a big part of our life. My sister's actually going through a double mastectomy right now.
Oh, I'm
today.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
She's out of surgery. She's doing okay, but it's just like one of those things. Like, it's here, and it's part of our life, and how we handle that and how we deal with that. I love knowing that there's people like you taking care of those in need, and so it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for
spending
some time with us.
And thank you for having me on your show.
Dude, this is
I
great.
watch you all the time on social media. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, it's an honor, Dr. Wittig. It's been fun. It's been great to get to know you. Anything else you want to share while we're here in the studio?
No, I think I shared it all, and hang there strong, right?
Yeah.
There's things in our life that we can't control.
Yeah.
Right? We have no control over it. But what we could control is how we react toward things. And how you react toward illness and people, right? And you're going to take great care of your sister.
Yep.
You're going to help her get through it. And all she can focus on is doing everything she needs to do to get better, and focusing on her nutrition, her exercise, and again, focusing on the 3 things: physically, mentally, and spiritually strong, which will help her get through the process.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will share that with her.
Okay, my friend.
Thanks for doing this. This is really great. Where can people find out more about you? You have a good social media presence, but I wanted to call that out. If there's places for you to share.
I'm frequently on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I think it's Dr. James Wittig, or James Wittig MD, or James C. Wittig MD. I forget exactly how we phrased it. And also I have 2 websites: orthopediconcologist.com and tumorsurgery.org. Tumorsurgery.org has a lot of information. That's the oldest website that I have a lot of information about me, but also the types of tumors that I treat.
Fantastic.
And also educational information for residents and medical students, surgical videos, as well as online lectures that residents and
that's great.
And students can learn from.
It's great to have that information kind of in one place for people to learn.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of information out there, and you don't always know where it's coming from. But it's great that you're providing that for those. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us here in the studio. It's been an honor to get to know you a little bit more.
And if there's anything that I could do for you, you'll let me know.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks for your time, brother.
Okay, my friend. Thank you.